In the heart of medieval Europe, a new era was dawning. The concept of knighthood was emerging from the mists of time. Among the earliest depictions of these warrior elites is the Song of Roland, a poem from the 11th century. This epic tale captures the essence of early medieval knights, brave and formidable in battle. But before these chivalrous knights became staples of courtyards and tournaments, they engaged in brutal mock battles known as behords and mêlées. These early competitions were far from the organized spectacles of later tournaments. They were chaotic and dangerous. Participants wielded real weapons in these violent clashes, with no clear rules or structure to guide the combat. These tournaments ran from the 10th to the 16th century CE, evolving over time into more refined and controlled events. As the centuries passed, the role of knights began to shift from that of brutal warriors to refined courtiers. The transformation was gradual but profound, marking a significant shift in medieval society. This transition was evident not only in their military roles, but also in the arts that accompanied them: poetry, music, and grand feasts. The vielle, an early form of the violin, and the recorder provided musical backdrops at medieval courts. Castle kitchens drew on plentiful food stores, often supplied by local farmers and paid as taxes. This rich tapestry of culture and combat marked the golden age of medieval knights. This code emphasized virtues such as loyalty, humility, courage, and courtesy, qualities that knights were expected to embody both on and off the battlefield. Poets of the era depicted these warriors as not just fighters, but gentlemen. The verses celebrate their chivalrous deeds and noble lineage, painting a picture of knights who were as much at home in courtly settings as they were on the battlefield. In grand tournaments, medieval knights showcased their military skills and adherence to chivalric ideals. These events were more than just sporting competitions. They served as expressions of aristocratic values in social gatherings for the elite. From jousting to mêlées, each contest was a stage for knights to demonstrate their prowess while upholding the code of chivalry that governed their conduct and reputation. In these grand halls filled with music and feasts, the virtues of chivalry were not just ideals. They were a lived reality that guided the actions and reputations of medieval knights. The Code of Chivalry thus became more than a set of rules. It was a way of life, shaping how knights behaved both on the battlefield and in the heart of medieval society. This transformation from brutal warriors to refined courtiers is a testament to the power of culture and values in shaping behavior, creating figures who were as much admired for their civility as they were feared for their martial prowess. And so, the medieval knight became a symbol of nobility and honor, embodying virtues that resonate even today, a legacy that endures in the poetry, tournaments, and feasts that celebrated their chivalric ideals. Through the lens of chivalry, we see how medieval knights transcended their roles as warriors to become figures of refinement and civility, leaving a lasting mark on European culture. As time passed, these raw displays of force began to evolve into more structured events. Rules were introduced to ensure the safety of participants and to provide a clear framework for competition. Knights showed off their military skills in activities such as jousting and mêlée, which required not just brute strength, but also tactical thinking. These tournaments became a way for knights to demonstrate their martial skills in front of large crowds of spectators, who came from various social classes to witness the spectacle. Foot combats and other forms of military exercises were often included in these medieval tournaments, adding to their allure and complexity. Over the centuries, medieval tournaments transformed from military exercises into grand public spectacles, where knights displayed not just their combat skills, but also their refinement and civility. Poetry and music, such as that performed by the Minstrels, evolved alongside these tournaments, reflecting the social and cultural trends of their time. As these knights participated in more regulated tournaments, their public image shifted from brutal warriors to refined courtiers, showcasing the evolution of medieval ideals and practices. These grand spectacles became a testament to the nobility and elegance that knights aspired to embody both on and off the battlefield. At these tournaments, one event stood out: jousting. Two riders charged at each other with spears at breakneck speed. But there was more to jousting than sheer brutality. It required skill, tactics, and an understanding of the rules. Knights had to master the precise timing and angle of their charge, aiming for the center of their opponent's shield. A successful hit could unhorse a rider and win the day, but an errant strike might miss or even shatter. The lance used in jousting was specifically designed to break on impact, preventing lethal injuries and emphasizing skill over force. Poetry like Sir Gawain and the Green Knights celebrated this artful display of martial prowess. During tournaments, knights demonstrated their grace and control in front of royalty and nobility, showcasing not just strength but elegance. As families displayed their arms in honor during these events, jousting symbolized more than just military might. It was a dance of strategy and finesse. In the grand scheme of medieval tournaments, jousting stood as an expression of the nobility and elegance that knights sought to personify. Beyond the ordered elegance of jousting, another main event in medieval tournaments held an entirely different appeal: the mêlée. The mêlée was a chaotic free-for-all combat where knights clashed in close quarters, often with swords and shields, aiming to demonstrate their prowess. Unlike the structured joust, the mêlée had no clear rules or limits, offering knights a chance to showcase their raw martial skill and tactical acumen. Knights would form temporary alliances during the mêlée, only to turn on each other moments later. Their tactics involve feints, sudden charges, and strategic retreats to wear down their opponents over time. This unpredictable combat demanded a high level of endurance and adaptability from the participants. The clash of steel on steel, the thunderous impact of shields, and the shouts of knights vying for dominance created an intense atmosphere. The mêlée served as a proving ground where knights could demonstrate their mastery over complex combat techniques. Despite the chaos, or perhaps because of it, knights could reveal their true skill and courage in the heat of battle. The intensity and skill required for knights to excel in mêlées were a testament to their dedication to the Code of Chivalry. The Great Hall was not just a space for feasting, but a stage where medieval lords displayed their wealth and power. This grand room, often the largest in a castle, was the heart of medieval banquets. These feasts were regular events, held to celebrate victories and holidays. The local lord and his entourage of knights and ladies gathered here frequently, making it a vital part of medieval social life. Medieval castles were designed with these grand events in mind, ensuring a steady supply of ingredients from their food stores. This preparedness underscored the significance of feasts in medieval life. The main table, adorned with the lord and lady's coat of arms, was where the high nobility sat. This visible display of wealth and status was a key element of medieval feasts. Squires served an array of rich foods and wine to these distinguished guests, emphasizing the lord's ability to provide lavishly for his entourage. Each course was a testament to his wealth. The feast often included multiple courses featuring exotic dishes, meats, breads, and sweet delicacies. These elaborate displays showcased the lord's power and prestige. Castle kitchens prepared these intricate meals with care, ensuring that each dish was a reflection of the lord's wealth and status. The cuisine itself became a form of display. Medieval lords saw these feasts as opportunities to foster relationships among nobles and reinforce their social hierarchy. Each grand banquet was more than just a meal, it was a strategic event. Through the extravagance of these feasts, lords could solidify their influence and assert their dominance over other nobles. The opulence was a visible symbol of their power. Minstrels played music during these feasts, adding an element of culture and refinement to the otherwise brutal setting of medieval life. Their performances elevated the atmosphere. These musical interludes contrasted sharply with the rough nature of medieval tournaments and warfare, offering a glimpse into the courtly side of knights and lords. As the evening progressed, the great hall echoed with the clink of goblets, the laughter of nobles, and the melodies of minstrels, all combining to create a scene of grandeur and refinement. In this setting, medieval feasts were not just meals, but elaborate rituals that reinforced social structures and showcased the wealth and power of lords. Each event was a testament to their status. As the night came to a close, guests departed with a renewed sense of the Lord's magnificence and generosity, further cementing his position in the social hierarchy. The grandeur of these medieval banquets underscored their significance in forging alliances and maintaining the power dynamics among nobles. Each feast was a strategic move in the game of courtly life. In the heart of medieval courts, minstrels played a pivotal role in shaping culture and entertainment. These professional musicians, known as jongleurs or troubadours, were skilled performers who entertained with both music and poetry. Their instruments of choice included the lute, a stringed instrument popular for its versatility and rich sound. The harp was another favorite, often played during medieval feasts to create an enchanting atmosphere. During grand feasts, minstrels would often perform to provide entertainment for the guests. Their hearty performances were considered a great virtue, symbolizing the high spirits and vitality of the court. By the 12th century, minstrels were well established in many European courts. They played a crucial role in preserving medieval culture through song and verse, transmitting poetry and stories across generations. Their performances often included dance and theatrical elements, creating a vibrant atmosphere that brought the court to life. This blend of art forms was an integral part of medieval entertainment. However, by the 14th century, the role of minstrels began to decline due to changes in courtly culture and the rise of more specialized musicians. Their impact on medieval society, however, remains indelible. Medieval poetry offers a glimpse into the values and ideals of medieval society, particularly those surrounding knights. These poems celebrated the heroism, valor, and noble deeds of knights, immortalizing their actions in verse that has endured centuries. Poems about knights emphasize their enduring fascination with heroism and virtue in medieval culture. These works celebrated the qualities that society held in high regard, such as bravery, honor, and nobility. Knights themselves often composed poetry to express their love or valor. This practice allowed them to engage with the arts even as they trained for combat and served in tournaments. Medieval poetry immortalized not only the grand battles and tournaments, but also the small, personal moments that defined knightly life. These works served as a record of their culture and values. Through these poems, we see that medieval poetry played a crucial role in preserving the ideals and virtues of knights for future generations. It served as both a mirror to their society and an inspiration for those who followed. By the 14th century, despite changes in courtly culture, these poetic traditions continued to influence the way knights were perceived and remembered. The values they upheld in life and verse remained integral to their legacy. The transformation of medieval knights from brutal warriors to refined courtiers can be seen through the lenses of poetry, music, tournaments, and feasts. These cultural artifacts reveal a complex and multifaceted society that valued both strength and grace. One of the most enigmatic figures in medieval literature is known as the Pearl Poet. This anonymous writer crafted tales that captured the essence of medieval chivalry and courtly love, making his works timeless classics. In Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, the title character, Sir Gawain, is tested by a mysterious figure known as the Green Knight. This encounter highlights the importance of chivalric duty and loyalty to King Arthur. The poem also delves into the concept of courtly love, showcasing the refined sentiments that knights were expected to hold dear. This blend of heroism and elegance reflects the transformation of medieval knights from brutal warriors to cultured courtiers. The Pearl Poet's work not only entertained, but also serve as a moral compass for knights and nobles alike. His writings emphasize the qualities that were considered most virtuous in medieval society. By portraying knights as both warriors and gentlemen, the Pearl poet contributed to the cultural ideal of chivalry. His poems celebrated physical prowess alongside an inner moral compass, reflecting the values that medieval society held in high regard. The significance of the Pearl poet's work lies in its ability to encapsulate the spirit of medieval knightly ideals. Through his tales, he illustrated the transition from a warrior culture to one that valued grace and refinement. His poems, like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, are enduring testaments to the artistic brilliance and cultural influence of medieval literature. They continue to resonate with readers today, offering a glimpse into a world that valued both strength and elegance. The Pearl poet's legacy serves as a reminder of the enduring power of storytelling to shape culture and values. His works stand as remarkable examples of medieval poetry, highlighting the transformation of knights from brutal warriors to refined courtiers. One day, a mysterious figure known as the Green Knight appears in the court during a festive gathering. This strange figure presents a challenge to the assembled knights, testing their loyalty and bravery. The Green Knight, clad in vibrant green attire, carries an axe and issues a bold decree. Any knight who can land a blow on him will receive the axe as a prize, but must then journey to the Green Chapel to receive a return strike. Sir Gawain, a knight known for his courage and loyalty, steps forward to accept this supernatural challenge. He is determined to prove his worth and honor. With a mighty swing, Sir Gawain strikes the Green Knight with such force that the axe is severed from the knight's body. The Green Knight then picks up his own head and rides off, reminding everyone to meet him at the Green Chapel in 1 year's time. As the appointed day approaches, Sir Gawain embarks on his journey to the Green Chapel. Along the way, he faces various tests of his loyalty and chivalry, including a series of enchanting encounters with the Lady Bertilac. The Lady Bertilac attempts to seduce Sir Gawain, offering him gifts and her affection. Despite these temptations, Sir Gawain remains steadfast in his devotion to his own lady back at King Arthur's court. Finally, Sir Gawain reaches the Green Chapel and confronts the Green Knight once again. This time, the knight tests Sir Gawain's honesty by revealing that he is actually Bertilac, the husband of the lady who tried to seduce him. The Green Knight then delivers 2 gentle strikes on Sir Gawain's neck, symbolizing the knight's failure to maintain complete honesty during his journey. Through this ordeal, Sir Gawain learns the value of true chivalry and loyalty, highlighting the themes of love, honor, and courtly refinement that are central to the medieval world. The legacy of medieval knights lives on through literature, art, and modern interpretations. Their code of chivalry continues to inspire and be celebrated in contemporary culture, reminding us of the enduring values they stood for. In conclusion, the legacy of medieval knights is profound and lasting. Their transformation from brutal warriors to refined courtiers underscores the timeless significance of values like loyalty, humility, courage, and courtesy. Knightly behavior was profoundly shaped by the literature of their time. Troubadours, for example, were poet-musicians who traveled through medieval courts and castles, spreading romantic ideals. Their songs were not just about love, but also about the courtly love conventions that knights aspired to uphold. These conventions emphasized qualities like loyalty, humility, and courage, virtues also embodied by the Code of Chivalry. Poets, such as Marie de France, composed works that celebrated knights for their heroism and valor on the battlefield. Through such poetry, knighthood was transformed from brutal warrior culture to one that valued refinement and courtliness. Beyond the battlefield, another transformation was taking place among medieval knights, the refinement of their manners and behaviors during feasts. Medieval banquets were not merely about food, but also about displaying wealth, power, and social hierarchy. The rules governing such events became increasingly elaborate over time. Table manners at medieval feasts were stringent. Knights and nobles had to know how to handle utensils correctly and with grace. Seating arrangements were crucial indicators of social standing. The high table was reserved for the lord, lady, and their most honored guests. At this table, only the finest foods and drinks were served, creating a visual spectacle that further emphasized the host's prestige. Guests lower in rank sat at subsequent tables, with the quality of food and wine decreasing accordingly. Courtly behavior was paramount. Knights had to exhibit good manners, such as not speaking with their mouth full and using utensils properly. Minstrels played a significant role in these events, not just through music but also by reciting poetry that celebrated knightly virtues. This refined behavior extended to every aspect of the feast, creating an environment that highlighted the noble's sophistication and status. Banquet etiquette was not just about following rules, but also about projecting an image of grace and elegance. Through such refined behaviors at feasts, the image of medieval knights transformed from brutal warriors to sophisticated courtiers. To understand how the medieval knight's image evolved, we must consider the role of heraldry in shaping their refinement and status. Heraldry, the practice of displaying coats of arms and other symbols, played a crucial part in defining knighthood during tournaments and courtly events. Originating from ancient practices, heraldry became formalized around the 12th century as knights began to wear distinctive symbols on their shields and banners. These symbols were more than just decorative. They represented a family's lineage, virtues, and achievements. Each coat of arms told a story, with specific colors and patterns holding significant meanings. For example, the color red often signified martial valor, while blue symbolized loyalty and truth. In tournaments, heraldic symbols were prominently displayed on banners and shields, serving as a visual shorthand for the knight's identity and deeds. During jousting competitions, spectators could quickly recognize a knight by his heraldic symbols alone, even from a distance. This recognition was vital for building the knight's reputation and reinforcing his chivalric values. The use of heraldic symbols also facilitated the transformation of knights from brutal warriors into refined courtiers by emphasizing their lineage and chivalric virtues. In a sense, heraldic symbols served as a form of visual poetry, narrating the knight's story through vivid and meaningful imagery. Through these symbols, the knights could convey their honor, loyalty, and courage, not just through their actions, but also through the powerful language of heraldry. By the 14th century, heraldic symbols had become an integral part of the knight's identity and status, reflecting both their personal achievements and family heritage. The evolution of heraldry mirrors the transformation of medieval knights from brutal warriors to sophisticated courtiers, emphasizing their chivalric values and refined identity. Through heraldic symbols, the knight's story was not only told in poetry and song, but also visually celebrated during tournaments and feasts. This rich tapestry of symbols and achievements contributed significantly to the medieval knight's enduring image as a refined and honorable courtier. Its mellow tone was well suited for the courtly songs that celebrated chivalric virtues, creating an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Its bright, cheerful notes complemented the vibrant energy of jousting matches and mêlées, further enhancing the spectacle for crowds. Popular genres of courtly music included chansons d'amour, love songs that often depicted knights as romantic heroes pursuing their beloved. Through these songs, music became an integral part of the knight's transformation from a brutal warrior to a refined courtier. The integration of music into tournaments and feasts underscored the importance of cultural refinement in medieval society. By embodying both martial prowess and artistic appreciation, knights exemplified the highest ideals of their time. This transformation was not merely cosmetic but profound, reflecting a deep commitment to chivalric values that music helped to cultivate. In the end, it was through the fusion of poetry, music, and military prowess that medieval knights achieved their enduring image as refined and honorable courtiers. And so, with each note played and each poem recited, the knight's legend grew, weaving a tapestry of chivalric virtues that has echoed through time. Music played an integral role in shaping the medieval knight's transformation, contributing to their enduring legacy as refined and honorable courtiers. Mêlée de France, a poet from the late 12th century, wrote about love and chivalry in her Mêlée. These tales depicted knights as refined courtiers rather than brutal warriors. Chrétien de Troyes, another prominent poet, is known for his Arthurian romances. His works emphasize the virtues of loyalty and bravery in knights. Through these literary works, the concept of courtly love emerged. This idealized form of love was seen as an elevated virtue that a knight should strive for. The poetic works transformed the image of knights from fighters on battlefields to refined lovers in courts, reflecting a shift in medieval society's values. The transformation was not merely aesthetic, but also behavioral. Knights began to display their refinement through literature and arts rather than just martial prowess. In the end, these literary pursuits helped refine the brutality of medieval knights into the elegance of courtly love and chivalry. This shift in focus from battle to courtly behavior is a testament to the power of poetry and arts in shaping societal norms. While poetry and music shaped the image of knights, another significant influence came from the grand medieval banquets. These gatherings not only showcased the wealth of lords, but also played a crucial role in refining the behavior of knights. Medieval banquet fare was far from simple. It consisted of elaborate dishes and multiple courses, each reflecting the social hierarchy and status of those seated at the high table. At the start of a medieval feast, guests would often be offered a simple dish like bread or porridge. This humble beginning served as a reminder of the communal nature of dining and the importance of sharing meals. As the meal progressed, more luxurious dishes began to appear. These were typically prepared with exotic spices and ingredients that were only accessible to the nobility. Dishes such as roasted meats, venison pies, and even swan or peacock, prepared in various ways, indicated wealth and status. These courses were reserved for the most honored guests seated at the high table. The variety of dishes served during a medieval banquet was immense, ranging from hearty stews and roasts to delicate pastries and fruits. Each course had its own significance, reflecting the diversity and opulence of the lord's holdings. The main courses were followed by a selection of sweets and pastries. These delicacies were often adorned with precious metals or intricate designs, symbolizing the lord's generosity and artistry. These lavish displays of food mirrored the social hierarchy. The higher the guest's status, the more exquisite the dishes they were served. This hierarchical structure reinforced the medieval societal norms and ensured that everyone knew their place. The dining etiquette at these banquets was also crucial in refining knights. They were expected to demonstrate good manners, such as waiting for the lord's signal before eating and showing restraint in their consumption. Knights had to be mindful of their behavior at all times. Even the smallest infraction could tarnish their reputation and status. The banquet thus became a training ground for knightly conduct, emphasizing patience, restraint, and grace. In the grand halls of castles where banquets were held, the scent of roasted meats, the clatter of silverware, and the melodies played by minstrels created an atmosphere that epitomized chivalry and nobility. As the last course was served and the final morsels savored, knights would retire from the table with a newfound appreciation for the art of dining. This ritualistic process became an integral part of their refinement. The medieval banquet was more than just a feast. It was a lesson in grace, patience, and social hierarchy. And as knights partook in these elaborate meals, they internalized the values that would define their conduct, both on and off the battlefield. From the simple beginnings to the luxurious endings, each course of a medieval banquet contributed to the transformation of knights from brutal warriors into refined courtiers. The artistry and etiquette of dining shaped their behavior in ways that no battle could. Thus, the medieval banquet fare played a pivotal role in elevating knights from mere warriors to symbols of elegance and nobility. Each coat of arms was more than just a decorative shield, it was a visual autobiography that told tales of ancestry, valor, and lineage. The crests that adorned the helms of knights were not mere ornaments, they symbolized specific qualities and achievements the knight was known for. Mottos etched onto scrolls or banners added another layer to this heraldic language, encapsulating the knight's personal philosophy and commitment. In the bustling tournament grounds, where lances shattered against shields, these symbols were not just for show. They bore witness to a knight's skill and honor. For instance, during jousting matches, the clash of arms resonated not just with force, but also with lineage and pride. Each knight's coat of arms was a testament to his family's history, tracing back generations of chivalric deeds and triumphs. These symbols were integral to the transformation from brutal warrior to refined courtier. They embodied the knight's identity beyond just his military prowess. In the grand tournaments, the clashing of arms was not merely a display of strength, but also an exhibition of lineage and values. The crests perched atop helms were like badges of honor, silently communicating the knight's unique qualities to all who saw them. Mottos echoed through the tournament grounds, their words carrying the weight of personal commitment and chivalric ideals. Thus, heraldry became not just a language of nobility, but a means by which knights refined their personas, embodying both the warrior's strength and the courtier's elegance. Thus, heraldry played a crucial role in shaping the medieval knight's identity and refining their personas from brutal warriors to elegant courtiers. The evolution of courtly music brought a new level of elegance to the lives of medieval knights. Composers like Guillaume de Machaut played a pivotal role in this transformation. Machaut's compositions were known for their refined melodies and harmonies, which reflected the sophisticated tastes of the court. Through his songs, Machaut promoted the ideals of courtly love and chivalric behavior. Knights began to embody these values in their daily lives. The influence of Machaut's music can be seen in the changing attitudes of knights towards women, from mere conquest to courtly affection. During medieval feasts and tournaments, Machaut's compositions created an atmosphere of refinement and elegance that permeated the behavior of knights. As they listened to his music, knights internalized the values it conveyed, leading to a more sophisticated and mannered conduct. Thus, courtly music refined the knights' manners and brought elegance to their lives, completing their transformation from brutal warriors to elegant courtiers. Romanesque architecture, with its strong towers and intricate stonework, was not just a backdrop, but an active participant in shaping the knightly culture. Castles, for instance, were more than fortified homes. They were stages where knights could display their prowess and chivalry. Jousting tournaments held within these castles' courtyards showcased not just military skill, but also the knight's elegance and finesse. The grand cathedrals of Romanesque architecture offered another dimension to knightly refinement. These towering structures, with their soaring arches and detailed sculptures, instilled a sense of spirituality and humility in the knights. In these hallowed spaces, knights would often gather for feasts and musical performances that fostered a sense of unity and elegance. The interplay between the austere stonework and the soft melodies of harps and lutes created an environment that refined the knight's sensibilities. The Romanesque architecture, with its blend of strength and delicacy, mirrored the ideal knightly qualities of courage and refinement. In this way, the architecture not only housed the knights, but also nurtured their transformation into more sophisticated and elegant figures. Thus, the influence of Romanesque architecture on knightly culture was profound and multifaceted, guiding them from raw warriors to refined courtiers. In the Middle Ages, religious music was a cornerstone of medieval life, permeating every aspect of society. The most prominent form of this music was liturgical, which served not only to praise God, but also to reinforce the spiritual and cultural values that guided medieval knights. Knights, who were often at the forefront of both military and social life, engaged deeply with this music. Their participation in religious services, where these songs were sung, was not merely ceremonial, but a profound aspect of their duty as protectors of the faith. Liturgical music held a transformative power over knights, imbuing them with a sense of sacredness and refinement that transcended their military prowess. In the grand cathedrals and abbeys where these songs echoed, knights found a spiritual haven that complemented their worldly pursuits. The intricate melodies and harmonies of liturgical music offered a respite from the chaos of battlefields, instilling in them an appreciation for beauty and order. Moreover, the lyrics of these songs, often sung in Latin, presented knights with profound theological concepts that expanded their intellectual horizons. The influence of liturgical music on medieval knighthood was multifaceted, shaping not only their spiritual lives, but also their cultural refinement. Thus, the role of liturgical music in knightly culture was far-reaching, contributing to the transformation of medieval knights from brutal warriors into refined courtiers. This spiritual and cultural depth, nurtured by sacred music, became an integral part of their identity and legacy. Medieval tournaments were more than just battles, they were spectacles of color and splendor. Knights, dressed in their finest armor, paraded with heraldic symbols that represented not only their lineage, but also their personal achievements. These symbols were not just decorative, they carried weight and significance in the world of chivalry. They signified a knight's pedigree, his deeds on the battlefield, and his place within the noble hierarchy. In the tournament, families displayed their arms and honor through intricate heraldic banners and shields. These visual displays were not merely ornaments, but testaments to their knights' valor and accomplishments. The spectacle of a tournament was not just about the physical skills on display, but also about the stories these symbols told. Each knight's heraldry spoke volumes about his family's history and his own personal journey. For instance, a shield adorned with 3 lions might signify that the knight hailed from a powerful dynasty known for its courage and ferocity in battle. These symbols were instant identifiers, easily recognizable by those familiar with noble lineages. The heraldry of medieval tournaments was a vibrant tapestry of family crests and individual achievements. It transformed the tournament ground into a visual narrative of knightly history and honor, making each joust more than just a contest. It became a display of heritage. This transformation from brutal warrior to refined courtier was evident in the meticulous craftsmanship and symbolism of heraldry. Knights, once identified by their sheer might, now paraded their genealogy and accomplishments with pride and elegance. As the tournament unfolded, the heraldry of each knight became a part of the spectacle's allure. It was not just about who could break more lances or win more points. It was also about whose lineage and achievements were most celebrated among the nobility. In this way, heraldic symbols in medieval tournaments served as both a visual feast for onlookers and a silent testament to the knight's heritage and successes. They added layers of meaning and significance to each joust, making every tournament a rich tapestry of aristocratic ideals and personal triumphs. As knights perfected their martial skills in tournaments, a parallel evolution was taking place within the courts. The transformation of medieval knights from brutal warriors to refined courtiers can be traced through the lenses of poetry, music, and dancing. One significant aspect of this refinement was the emergence of courtly dances. The evolution of courtly dances began as early as the 12th century and rapidly gained popularity among the aristocracy. These dances were not merely forms of entertainment, but also vehicles for social interaction and the display of grace and elegance. Knights actively participated in these dances, viewing them as integral parts of their social education and a means to demonstrate their refinement and courtly manners. One of the most intricate and renowned courtly dances was the Mêlée, which involved complex steps and movements that required considerable skill to execute gracefully. The ability to perform these dances flawlessly became a mark of high social standing and was considered essential for any knight aiming to elevate their status. Participating in courtly dances also facilitated the development of essential social graces and etiquette among knights. It taught them to move with poise and grace, to interact smoothly with others, and to exhibit refined manners. Moreover, these dances often provided opportunities for knights to engage with ladies of the court, fostering a sense of chivalry and gallantry. These dances not only served as entertainment, but also as a means to cultivate social graces and enhance the elegance of knights. The evolution of courtly dances played a pivotal role in shaping the social etiquette and grace of medieval knights, contributing to their transformation into refined courtiers. By integrating these elegant dances into their lives, knights demonstrated a commitment to the ideals of chivalry and courtly refinement. In this way, dancing became an integral part of the knight's journey towards becoming a paragon of nobility and grace. As the era of medieval knights progressed, their brutal warrior status began to evolve towards a more refined courtier lifestyle. One aspect reflecting this shift was the transformation of banquet settings from crude affairs into extravagant displays of elegance and wealth. Goblets, plates, and utensils made from precious metals and materials became the norm at these grand feasts. These service items were not just functional, they served as symbols of the host's prestige and generosity. Gold and silver were favored for creating intricate goblets, each designed with exquisite detail. These delicate pieces were often reserved for honored guests, signifying their elevated status within the feast. Plates crafted from these luxurious materials carried dishes that varied from simple to ornate, depending on the course being served. The more elaborate settings were saved for the most impressive courses of the feast. Utensils such as spoons and knives were also fashioned from these valuable materials, further embellishing the table with their gleaming presence. Each piece was a testament to the host's ability to provide for their guests in the most lavish way possible. The use of such precious materials in serviceware highlighted the importance placed on hospitality and generosity within medieval culture. It was not just about consumption, but also about demonstrating one's capacity to offer luxury and comfort. This evolution in banquet settings mirrored the broader transformation of knights from brutal warriors into refined courtiers, emphasizing virtues like humility, courtesy, and elegance that were highly valued in their code of chivalry. Minstrels often performed at these grand events, bringing a layer of artistic grace to the festivities. Their harps, lutes, and other instruments filled the air with both secular and religious melodies. The refined table settings served as a backdrop to these performances, creating an atmosphere that celebrated the shift towards elegance and grace in knightly culture. As you picture this scene of opulence and artistry, remember that each elaborate setting and every note played were not just elements of a feast, but symbols of an evolving culture where knights sought to embody both strength and refinement. This quest for balance extended beyond the banquet table into the leisure activities that filled a knight's off-duty hours. Board games like chess and backgammon were favored pastimes that allowed knights to exercise strategic thinking. In the tranquil setting of a castle courtyard or grand hall, knights would spend hours engaged in these intellectual pursuits. Chess, in particular, with its complex strategies and tactical moves, mirrored the skills required on the battlefield. The intricate maneuvers and long-term planning of a chess game were seen as an ideal way to hone a knight's mental acuity. Outdoor games such as archery and hunting also played a significant role in knights' leisure. Hunting trips were not merely recreational, they served as opportunities to display martial prowess. Archery, on the other hand, combined physical dexterity with precision and focus. These activities allowed knights to balance their martial skills with intellectual and recreational pursuits that enhanced their courtly demeanor. Through these games and pastimes, knights cultivated a unique blend of strength, refinement, and intellectual prowess that defined their gaming culture. This commitment to balance in both their martial and leisurely pursuits underscored the essence of medieval chivalry. The color of a knight's garments held significant meaning. Red, for instance, symbolized martial prowess and was often worn during tournaments to emphasize their combat readiness. Blue, on the other hand, represented loyalty and humility, qualities integral to the Code of Chivalry. Knights would don blue tunics during feasts or social gatherings to underscore their allegiance to their lord and commitment to noble values. Fabrics used in knightly attire were equally important. Silk, reserved for royalty and the highest nobility, was a rare luxury that signified wealth and power. Knights might wear silk accents on their tunics or capes to display their elevated status within the court hierarchy. For everyday use, knights favored wool and linen materials that were both practical and comfortable. These fabrics were often dyed in earth tones to signify their connection to the land and the simplicity of their lifestyle when not engaged in tournaments or courtly affairs. Adornments played a crucial role as well. Gold and silver embroidery on tunics or capes were symbols of wealth and prestige, often seen only on the attire of high-ranking knights. These embellishments served as visible indicators of their standing within the court. Rules governing dress codes were meticulous. During tournaments, for example, knights would wear full plate armor adorned with their family's coat of arms. This not only offered protection but also served as a bold declaration of their lineage and prowess in battle. For feasts and courtly gatherings, knights would don more elaborate tunics with intricate embroidery that matched the opulence of the event. These garments were not just about appearance, but also about signaling their readiness to participate in the refined culture of the court. In jousting, knights were expected to maintain a straight path when charging at each other with spears. Deviating from this path was seen as dishonorable and could result in penalties or loss of status. The importance of these rules extended beyond the tournament grounds, as breaching combat etiquette during warfare could also lead to severe consequences. Knights who disregarded these codes might face loss of honor or even exile from their community. During tournaments, knights were required to show respect for their opponents by not attacking them when they were down or incapacitated. This rule was a reflection of the courtly ideals that emphasized humility and courtesy in all situations. The integration of refinement into martial practices ensured that even in battle, knights upheld the values of loyalty, humility, courage, and courtesy. This transformation highlights how medieval knights balanced their roles as warriors with the demands of courtly life. Amid the clashing of swords and the thunderous charge of horses, medieval knights also engaged in a distinctly refined aspect of courtly life: dance. Courtly dances were not mere entertainment. They served as a sophisticated means for knights to display their grace and elegance. Among the most popular were carols and estampes, which showcased intricate steps and rhythmic precision. The carol, with its slow, dignified pace, was particularly esteemed for its ability to transform the rough-hewn knight into a figure of refined grace. The dance's measured steps required a poise and control that carried over into social interactions. In contrast, the estampia offered a lively pace, demanding quick footwork and agile movements. Mastering such dances was seen as a mark of elegance and skill, demonstrating not only physical prowess but also the ability to adapt seamlessly from the battlefield to the courtroom. The influence of these dances extended beyond mere performance. They became integral parts of tournaments and feasts where knights would showcase their prowess in front of peers and noble guests. At medieval banquets, after the main course had concluded, minstrels would often perform to accompany dancers taking to the floor. The music of instruments like the harp and lute set the rhythm for intricate steps, transforming the great hall into a stage for elegant display. Dancing skills were not just ornamental, they played a crucial role in refining the overall demeanor of knights. The ability to execute precise and graceful movements highlighted their self-control and discipline, qualities that were highly valued in courtly life. In essence, the art of dance served as a bridge between the raw power of battlefield prowess and the polished elegance required at court. It was through these refined movements that knights could demonstrate their capacity to adapt and thrive in both spheres. As the music faded and the final bow was taken, knights returned to their seats with renewed grace and poise, ready to engage in the nuanced interactions of courtly society. This transformation underscored the dual nature of medieval knighthood, balancing brutality on the battlefield with refinement at court. It's said that the first rule of courtly manners was taught to a knight in his earliest days: never turn your back on a lord or lady. In medieval courts, one's rank determined everything, even how they sat during feasts. At the high table, a knight might sit alongside his lord, but never above him. The hierarchy was clear: lords and ladies at the top, then nobles, followed by high-ranking knights, squires, and finally the common folk. But courtly manners went beyond just seating. There were rules for every interaction: greeting a lord, breaking bread at a feast, even how to properly address a lady. For instance, knights were taught that when entering the great hall, they should first approach the lord and then the lady, never the other way around. When addressing a nobleman or woman, knights were to lower their gaze slightly as a sign of respect, and when speaking to someone of equal rank, they maintained eye contact. At feasts, the lord would typically serve the first course himself, passing it to his most trusted knights, who then served their peers. These rituals weren't just about showmanship, they reinforced the social order and emphasized the knight's place within it. Manners were also crucial in battle. Even on the field, a knight was expected to greet an opponent with respect and courtesy before combat began. In this way, courtly manners shaped not just how knights behaved in the grand halls, but also how they conducted themselves on the battlefield. The formalization of these behaviors marked a shift towards refinement. Knights were no longer just brutal warriors. They had to be masters of etiquette as well. The earliest knights wore functional armor designed for the battlefield. Plate armor, with its gleaming surfaces and heavy weight, was ideal for protecting against swords and arrows. But as the 14th century dawned, a new aesthetic began to take hold. Tournaments became less about brutal combat and more about displaying elegance and refinement. Knightly fashions started to incorporate intricate patterns and embroidery, reflecting the growing importance of appearance over raw power. At feasts, knights would adorn themselves with extravagant cloths and jewels, signaling their status and wealth within the court. This shift in fashion was not just about aesthetics. It signified a deeper change in medieval culture, where elegance and refinement became as important as martial prowess. Poems like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight captured this new ideal of the knight as both a warrior and a gentleman, clad in ornate attire that symbolized their dual nature. Philosophy played a crucial role in shaping the ideals of chivalry and courtly love that guided the behavior of medieval knights. Key philosophical concepts from classical Greek philosophy were interpreted and applied in medieval courts, guiding the transformation of these warriors into refined courtiers. The idea of balance and harmony, championed by Plato and Aristotle, was particularly influential. Plato's belief in the harmony between body and soul resonated with the medieval knight's quest for balance between martial prowess and courtly grace. Aristotle's concept of virtue as the mean between two extremes guided knights to strive for a balance between bravery on the battlefield and humility in court. Philosophers like Boethius further emphasized the importance of inner virtue and self-control, values that became central to knightly ideals. The transformation of medieval knights was not just about physical prowess, but also about intellectual refinement, as seen in the poetry and music they enjoyed. Minstrels' music and verse brought these philosophical ideas to life, making them accessible and integral to knightly culture. In the jousting arena, knights demonstrated their courage and skill, while in the Great Hall they showcased their humility and courtesy. Through poetry, music, tournaments, and feasts, philosophy shaped the medieval knight into a refined courtier, embodying virtues that transcended mere physical prowess. The intellectual underpinnings of these ideals reveal the depth and complexity behind the transformation of medieval warriors into sophisticated courtiers. Beyond the brute strength and military prowess, another crucial skill set medieval knights mastered was equestrianism. This art of horsemanship played a pivotal role in both their martial training and their transformation into refined courtiers. Jousting, one of the most prominent events at medieval tournaments, required exceptional horsemanship. Knights would charge at each other with spears, aiming to unseat their opponent or break their lance against the opponent's shield. The horse's agility and responsiveness were crucial for a successful joust. A knight's ability to control his mount while maintaining balance and focus was as important as the physical strength needed to wield a lance. The horse's endurance and maneuverability were critical for survival in these chaotic melees, where a knight had to react swiftly and decisively to changing situations. Training in equitation, the art of riding, contributed significantly to a knight's elegance and grace on and off the battlefield. Riding with balance, poise, and control was not only necessary for military success, but also cultivated a sense of refinement that carried over into courtly life. The horse's symbolism in heraldry and symbolism cannot be understated. In medieval coats of arms, the horse often represented nobility, speed, and strength. The importance of the horse in heraldry signified not just martial prowess, but also the qualities of a refined knight, qualities that were celebrated and valued within the court. Thus, mastery of equestrianism, an essential martial skill, also cultivated elegance and refinement in medieval knights. The origins of these dramas can be traced back to the early Middle Ages, evolving from simple biblical plays and moral tales into elaborate theatrical productions. In these dramas, knights were portrayed as paragons of virtue and gallantry. They were the heroes who rescued damsels in distress and upheld justice. Knights themselves often participated in these performances, using their stage presence to enhance the depiction of nobility and grace. Their support for these productions went beyond just acting. They often funded the plays and provided patronage to the troops of minstrels who performed them. This symbiotic relationship between knights and courtly dramas reinforced the cultural shift towards refinement among medieval knights. As they watched and performed in these plays, knights internalized the values of chivalry more deeply, making them not just skilled warriors, but also refined courtiers. These dramas thus became a powerful tool in shaping the medieval knight's identity, transforming them from brutal warriors to refined courtiers. As the brutal warrior ethos gave way to refined courtly manners, dance emerged as a crucial arena for displaying elegance and sophistication in medieval courts. One of the earliest and most popular forms of courtly dances was the carol. This dance involved a circle of people holding hands, singing as they moved in unison. The carol, with its emphasis on harmony and unity, reflected the growing importance of courtly virtues such as cooperation and community among knights. As time passed, more complex dances like the estampie and basset danse gained prominence. These required intricate footwork and graceful movements that showcased a knight's poise and balance. The estampie, for instance, involved rapid steps and turns that demanded precision and control qualities essential for a skilled warrior, but now channeled into elegant courtly displays. The basset danse, on the other hand, was slower and more deliberate. It emphasized fluidity and control over swift movements, reflecting a shift towards refinement and grace. These dances were not just about physical prowess, they also demanded musical aptitude. Knights had to be able to move in rhythm with complex tunes, showcasing their multifaceted talents. Through dance, knights transformed their martial skills into artistic expressions of elegance and refinement. This transformation was critical in shaping the image of the medieval knight as a paragon of both valor and civility. As they pirouetted across the dance floor, knights displayed not just their physical prowess, but also their adherence to chivalric ideals of poise and control. As knights demonstrated their agility and control through dance, another influence was subtly shaping their minds: classical learning. This was the intellectual pursuit that broadened the horizons of medieval knights beyond mere combat prowess. From ancient philosophers like Plato and Aristotle to Roman orators such as Cicero, classical texts were incorporated into the education of aspiring knights. These works provided not only historical context, but also insights into ethics, rhetoric, and logic. Notable scholars like Peter Abelard and Peter Lombard played significant roles in compiling and interpreting these classical works. Their commentaries on Aristotle's works, for instance, bridged the gap between ancient wisdom and medieval thought. The influence of classical learning on chivalric ideals was profound. It instilled in knights a sense of honor, justice, and wisdom that transcended mere martial skills. These intellectual pursuits transformed brutal warriors into refined courtiers. As they delved into the works of ancient philosophers, knights began to see their role not just as protectors, but also as custodians of wisdom and virtue. This intellectual depth refined their behavior and actions both on and off the battlefield. In essence, classical learning elevated the medieval knight from a mere warrior to an educated and cultured individual. This intellectual transformation contributed significantly to their overall refinement as courtiers. And so, as knights continued to master the art of warfare, they also immersed themselves in the wisdom of ages past. This dual pursuit shaped them into figures of both physical prowess and intellectual depth. Ultimately, it was this balance of strength and knowledge that defined the medieval knight as a unique and revered figure in history. In the opulent courts of medieval Europe, embroidery was not merely a decorative element, but a symbol of prestige and wealth. The intricate designs on knightly attire often depicted heraldic motifs, such as lions, eagles, and unicorns, which signified the family's lineage and noble heritage. Crafted with meticulous care using fine silk threads, these embroideries showcased both the skill of the artisan and the status of the knight. The refinement and elegance of medieval knights were on full display during grand tournaments and banquets, where they would don their embroidered tunics and surcoats adorned with vibrant colors and ornate patterns. These garments were not just for show, they held practical value as well, providing protection during combat and a sense of belonging to their noble house. In the grand halls where feasts and tournaments were held, the sight of knights adorned in these elaborate garments was a visual declaration of their refined status. And so, the legacy of medieval knights endures, not only in their tales of valor, but also in the exquisite craftsmanship that adorned their attire. It is in these intricate details that we see the true refinement of the medieval knight, a symbol of both power and artistry. This was the realm of medieval embroidery, where the tapestries and banners adorning the Great Hall bore witness to a transformation in progress. The use of silk threads in these intricate patterns signified a refinement beyond mere functional decoration. Each thread was painstakingly dyed and spun, often by women within the court who held the secrets of color alchemy. Heraldic symbols, those vivid emblems that represented noble houses and their lineage, were meticulously stitched onto these delicate fabrics. A lion rampant, a griffin, or a mythical beast like the dragon of Wales, each was a testament to the knight's pedigree and honor. But it wasn't just family crests that adorned these tapestries. Mythical creatures, both revered and feared, found their way onto the banners and tunics of knights. Dragons, griffins, and unicorns symbolized not only strength and ferocity, but also wisdom and purity attributes highly sought after in the courtly world. Women within the court played a crucial role in creating these artworks. They were not merely decorative adornments, They bore messages of lineage, virtue, and chivalric ideals. Each stitch was a silent storyteller, weaving together the tales of knights and their legendary deeds. In quiet moments between battles and tournaments, knights would don their embroidered tunics, not just as a mark of status, but as a testament to their evolving roles within society. Each stitch told a story of valor, lineage, and the ideals they upheld both on and off the battlefield. The transformation was complete when these knights stepped into the great hall during feasts, their embroidered attire reflecting the light from chandeliers and candles. It was a silent proclamation of their dual nature, fierce warriors by day and refined courtiers by night. Beyond the grandeur of medieval castles lay another significant aspect of courtly life: gardens. These weren't just simple plots of land, but intricately designed spaces that mirrored the refinement and elegance of their inhabitants. Medieval gardens were more than just ornamental spaces. They symbolized the harmony and balance sought by knights. This ideal was encapsulated in the hortus conclusus concept, where the garden represented a controlled, peaceful microcosm of the wider world. These gardens often featured symmetrical designs and geometric patterns, reflecting the knights' desire for order and discipline in their own lives. The gardens of Versailles are a notable example, showcasing the grandeur and precision that embodied chivalric ideals. Here, the intricate maze-like structures and carefully manicured hedges served as a stark contrast to the chaos of battlefields. The presence of these gardens in courtly life emphasized the importance of elegance and refinement in a knight's character. This blend of aesthetics and discipline was not merely a decorative choice, but a reflection of the knightly code's emphasis on both strength and grace. As they strolled through these meticulously maintained spaces, knights were reminded of the dual nature of their role: fierce warriors by day and refined courtiers by night. The medieval tournament, a forum for knights to showcase their military skills, also provided an opportunity to display another aspect of their role, that of refined courtiers. Here, they could demonstrate not just their prowess in combat, but also their taste and discernment. These performances, accompanied by instruments like the lute and harp, added to the elegance of medieval gatherings. The influence of knightly patronage extended beyond poetry and music to visual arts as well. Knights often commissioned artists to create grand tapestries and illuminated manuscripts that adorned their castles. These works not only served as aesthetic enhancements, but also as symbols of the knight's status and wealth. By supporting these artists, knights helped refine the cultural landscape of medieval Europe. Their financial backing translated their martial prowess into tangible contributions to the arts, thereby elevating courtly culture. Their martial skills honed in battle were mirrored in their discerning taste for the arts, creating a harmonious balance between strength and refinement.